Welcome to the GSMC Fitness Podcast, the show that helps you sort through all of the trends, new and old, of the fitness world. We'll talk about yoga, running, Zumba, weightlifting, and everything in between. Whether you've got your fitness routine down to a science or you're just starting out and looking for direction, you'll find educational and entertaining information on the GSMC Fitness Podcast.
Hey guys, and welcome to GSMC Fitness Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Cynthia, and happy, Wednesday? I don't even know my days anymore. Happy Wednesday, everyone. We are midweek. I hope you all are having a strong week and are continuing with being productive, creative, or just straight chilling. You know, it doesn't matter. We're all taking a little pandemic break right now. And yesterday was Cinco de Mayo, so I hope you guys, if you do celebrate it, had a great Cinco de Mayo, ate some healthy tacos, or maybe you didn't. Maybe it was your cheat meal. That's okay too. Or maybe you had some margaritas. I know my parents had a margarita. I didn't. I don't know why. I just wasn't feeling it. I don't know. It was weird. I wasn't in the mood for Cinco de Mayo yesterday. Like, for me, it was like another normal day, but my parents were, drinking margaritas and whatnot. So I hope you all celebrated safely and socially distanced if you did go out to see anyone. And just a little fun fact here. Cinco de Mayo is actually not Mexican Independence Day. I know a lot of people get confused that Cinco de Mayo is Mexican Independence Day, but it's not. In fact, September 16th is Mexican Independence Day. So that's when that's celebrated. Cinco de Mayo is actually to celebrate the Battle of Puebla, which is a war against the Mexican and the French. So just a fun fact out there. You may have known that already, or you may have not, but just wanted to throw that out there. And let's talk fitness, right? That's what we're here to talk about. As you may have already been able to tell by today's title, we are going to be talking about resistance bands, okay? They've been around for a while, but lately they have become widely popular, especially with all of us being quarantined and with dumbbells and a whole bunch of other exercise equipment being sold out everywhere, or people just gauging the prices, which is really messed up if you do that, by the way. Resistance bands have came in to save the day for these at-home workouts. I know they've saved me during this time and my at-home workouts. So I thought it was, it would be good to talk about resistance bands and their benefits and the different types of resistance bands and their functions on today's podcast, since I know the majority of us, that's the only, piece of equipment we may have. Or maybe you're someone who doesn't have equipment or doesn't have resistance bands and you would like to learn more about their functions and how to use them. This definitely would be easier if it was if I had a video, because I could show you guys all the cool different exercises that you could do. Like, you could really target your entire body with a single band, and it's really crazy that you can do that with just a tiny little band. So I have a good analogy for resistance bands. When you look at a tiny little jalapeno pepper, it's hard to imagine what a punch it packs until you put it in your mouth. That's basically the same thing for resistance bands. It's hard to look at a little band, next to a big dumbbell or kettlebell and believe it, but resistance bands are a great strength training tool. They might be small and unassuming, but the power they have sneaks up on you, I promise. Just one band can be used to strengthen all major muscle groups, as I said, like all major muscle groups, such as your chest, your arms, your abs, your legs, your glutes, shoulders, everything. Total body workout. And most people who use them for the first time definitely feel it the next day. I've been using resistance bands since the beginning of my fitness journey. I've been doing this for 3 years, and I still, to this day, still feel the next day after I use resistance bands. I use like the little mini band or booty band, whatever you want to call them. Those have become very popular since everyone's trying to grow their peach right now. And I had like a really good booty band workout yesterday, or resistance band workout. And I'm actually it wasn't yesterday. It was 2 days ago. 2 days ago, but it feels like yesterday because I'm still sore. So trust me, people, I have been doing this for 3 years and I am still getting sore from these resistance bands. It's just making sure you use them correctly, of course, and that you keep the proper amount of tension in whatever muscle group that you're targeting with these bands. So where did resistance bands come from? Resistance bands originated in the early 1900s and were made from surgical tubing. Their original purpose was muscle rehabilitation, though the photos from exercises at that time look similar to exercises used for strength today. The bands made a comeback in the fitness market during the 1990s and have continued to increase in popularity. And they continue to increase again because the whole aesthetic right now is to build the lower body, and one of the best ways to build the lower body is by using resistance bands, or to further challenge your strength training routine, you use resistance bands. So they're definitely making a comeback, and I think they're here to stay. So let's talk about some of the amazing benefits of resistance bands. First thing being that, it's versatility. While dumbbells provide you with the heavy lift and weight machines are stable and easy to use, neither has the versatility of the resistance bands. And what I mean by versatility is that you can begin performing a band squat and immediately add a bicep curl to the move. Or you can easily take a resistance band lunge and an overhead press. The possibilities are endless. The combinations are endless. Like I said, you can literally target anything with these bands. Second benefit of resistance bands are more muscle recruitment. Due to the great versatility of the resistance bands, they are also more efficient. A bicep curl with a dumbbell is a fixed motion, right? And the muscles used are predictable. Add the instability of the band, and muscle fibers all over your arms and shoulders kick in to keep the band stable. So it makes it more challenging. And if you're somebody right now who's really looking to grow size, like build muscle, hypertrophy, include resistance bands in your workout. That's a great way, a great tool to incorporate into your routine and helps you progressively overload to take your training to the next level. And we all know, or we may not all know, I shouldn't say that, but some people may know already that in order to grow your muscles or to see, changes in your body, you need to progressively overload. And all that really means is that you are just constantly and continuously challenging your muscle groups. There are many variables to do to challenge your muscles. It doesn't always need to be like lifting heavier weight. So instead of lifting heavier weight, you can add a band to like a banded squat, and there you have it. You already are progressively overloading that specific exercise. The third benefit of resistance bands is that they're affordable. They're cheap. Some are less than $20. I mean, need we say more? Dumbbells are loaned right now, like 2 10-pound dumbbells a set are like $50. Are you kidding me? Those used to be like $20, because typically dumbbells are sold $1 per pound. So a 50-pound dumbbell would cost $50. 25-pound dumbbell is going to cost $25, etc. But right now they're literally double, sometimes triple the price right now. So I know many of us are looking for affordable equipment, affordable ways to stay healthy and fit during these times. So affordability for sure. resistance bands are relatively inexpensive, even the good ones. You can buy multiple resistance levels and still keep your costs low. And you want to make sure when you are buying resistance bands that you don't want to just buy some whatever flimsy ones that are going to break, because for one, that's going to hurt when the resistance band snaps on you. Trust me. I've been there, done that, don't want to experience it ever again. So, and like you just are going to be spending more money that way, because you're spending money on a cheap band and then it's like you have to repurchase another one. So save yourself some money and get yourself a good resistance band, and you'll be good to go. You'll be golden, okay? And I'm going to come to our very first break right now. When we come back, more on the benefits of resistance bands.
You really can't underestimate the importance of having the right creative work for your brand or your product. Whether it's a logo, a website, a book cover, or an ad campaign, you really need a quality design to make that big difference pop and deliver your overall engagement and success in a competitive market. That's where Design Crowd comes in. Design Crowd has over 750,000 designers from Sydney to San Francisco ready to help you with awesome creative ideas. They make crowdsourcing work for you. So if you need a logo or you're working on your creative branding, you can go to designcrowd.com and post a brief describing the design you need. And then within about 2 to 7 days, you'll receive up to over 100 different designs from designers around the world. Then you pick the best design and approve payment to the designer. So you're only paying for the design that you want. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of freelancing and out of crowdsourcing. And you don't have to be a huge company like Harvard Business School to use Design Crowd, although they have used it as well. You can start a project on Design Crowd for as little as $99. And if you go right now to designcrowd.com/health and wellness or enter the promo code health and wellness on their website, then our health and wellness listeners will receive up to $150 off of your design project. That's designcrowd.com/health and wellness or entering that promo code health and wellness.
Do you want to be healthier, yet you just don't know what to do? All these shows telling you this and that, but nothing seems to work. Well, listen close. Golden State Media Concepts has got something great for you. The Health and Wellness Podcast, dedicated to workout trends, healthy eating habits, diet, and everything about healthy living. Join us in our banters as we help you not just live life to the fullest, but live it to the healthiest.
Hey guys, and welcome back to GSMC Fitness Podcast. So we start to dive a little bit on some of the amazing benefits of using resistance bands, with the last benefit being that it's affordable. And I just wanted to still kind of add on to what I was saying, previously about not buying like cheap resistance bands. And what I mean by cheap, don't buy, this is my recommendation because I have gone through it with resistance bands. Especially if you are buying like the booty bands or the mini bands, don't buy like the rubber ones. Those will snap eventually. 2, those like rub up against your skin the wrong way. Like it literally irritates me when I use the rubber ones. And the really annoying part is that they always like slip and slide. Like I know many people, if you know what I'm talking about, when you're on the ground and you're doing like a glute kickback and the whole thing just like rolls up to the top of your hips, like Nothing's more annoying than like trying to unroll the band and like place it where you need it to be. So I would get some cloth bands, like if you're going to look for the mini band, the booty band, get like the cloth bands with the non-slip. There's so many different brands out there that sell, different cloth bands, and those would be like the greatest, ones to use. Again, they can range anywhere from like $20 to $40. They come in, some of them sell as like a resistance band set where it's like a light, medium, and heavy. You don't need all three. I have all three because, again, I like to kind of change the tension and challenge my muscles in different ways. So I need all three of those. But yeah, I definitely would recommend getting the cloth ones and not the rubber. Anyway. Now that I said that, let's get back to some of the benefits of resistance bands. And the next is that it's portable, very easy to travel with. Putting a treadmill away when company comes over can be, it's a hassle. Moving the dumbbells under the bed gets to be a hassle. This is not the case with the resistance bands. They're small, light, flexible. They can be tucked away anywhere, including your handbag or gym bag. You can take them to the office, put them in a suitcase, run them upstairs or downstairs. Resistance bands are just easy. They're easy. And at times, depending what kind you get, you can even put them in your pocket if your pocket's big enough. So the fact that they're portable and just easy to move is a major plus. Especially if you're someone who travels a lot for work and, maybe your hotel doesn't have like the best equipment, or maybe your hotel doesn't even have like a gym, then putting resistance bands, packing them in your carry-on bag is like non-issue at all because they do not take up any space. Next benefit is that it's the same muscle activity but less chance of injury. So according to strength and conditioning research, training with elastic bands provides similar and sometimes even greater muscle activity as weight training. One major difference is that it involves a lower amount of force on the joints, which means that more stimulus can be provided to the muscles and less chance of injury. This is also good news for anyone with existing injuries or joint pain because resistance bands may allow you to continue working out and performing exercises that you can't with dumbbells. And this is absolutely true. When I used to be a trainer at a slow motion strength training facility in the Bay Area, again, many of my clients, actually like 90% of my clients either had arthritis, lower back pain, hip pain, knee pain, lupus, carpal tunnel. I dealt with a lot of clients with joint pain. And the best tool that I used on them were resistance bands. So, for instance, on a shoulder press, dumbbells could be too much on many of the clients that I was training. So instead of, using 2 dumbbells to do like an overhead press, I would give them a resistance band, like a little elastic loop band. I would have them stick their arms in between it and pretend you have your arms out, everyone, just so you know what I'm talking about. Have your arms out and pretend you have the band wrapped around your wrist and you push out against the resistance band so that you're still targeting your shoulder. You're still hitting the targeted muscle that you're supposed to be, but without adding that extra load on the joints. So yes, same muscle activity, but less chance of injury, 1000%. Next benefit is that there's greater muscle stimulus. One major difference between free weights and resistance bands is the variable resistance applied through the full range of motion of an exercise. With free weights, there are actually parts of the movement when the muscles aren't performing much work due to lack of gravity, such as the top of a bicep curl. What this means, according to Dr. Jim Stepani, is that when using resistance bands, the muscle is receiving greater resistance at its strongest point in the range of motion and therefore is receiving more adequate resistance to better stimulate strength adaptations. Which, makes sense. Next resistance band benefit is that it is all about stabilization and core activation, which is so important when it comes to strength training, whether you are working the upper extremity or the lower extremity. You need a strong core. You need to be stable in your midsection. The constant tension from bands adds an element of required stabilization from your body to maintain form during many exercises. This also means that you will often need to activate your core for balance. The need to control them from snapping back into place means greater stimulation and strength of the muscle's full range of motion, and the pull of the bands reduces your ability to cheat by using momentum. So, stabilization, core activation, people, super, super important when it comes to your strength training or resistance training. Next benefit is that it improves strength and athletic performance. Power resistance bands are extremely effective for athletic training due to the increased load, variable resistance, and instability. I'm always saying there's like the, every time I see like athlete workouts on YouTube, like they're all incorporating like the long bands and very, very good for athletic performance. According to one study from the Sport Journal, experienced powerlifters and strength and conditioning professionals have claimed elastic band resistance combined with traditional training procedures strength gains for several years. One test using elastic tension for back squats and bench press demonstrated that the bench press increase was doubled, and the back squat 1 rep max improvement was nearly three times higher than using bands. The resistance band group's average lower body power increase was nearly 3 times better than the free weight only group. That's a tremendous number right there. Research also shows that using bands with weights improves neuromuscular performance, right? Neuromuscular performance and strength more than weight training alone. And these bands can also be used for speed and agility drills for various athletic purposes. So many, many different uses. And the final benefit that I'll be mentioning regarding the resistance bands is that they're amazing for stretching and mobility. Any type of tube or flat band is great for both post-workout stretches as well as pre-workout mobility work. Typically, you're limited during stretches by your level of flexibility and range of motion, and many effective stretches even require another person to provide pressure to the muscle. Instead, you can use bands to assist with stretching to extend your reach and provide pressure, such as with lying down hamstring stretches. Power bands are also excellent for mobility work when wrapped around sturdy objects, such as improving ankle and hip mobility for squats. This is something that I see a lot in the gym that I used to go to. And I say used to because we're in quarantine and my gym is still closed. So definitely amazing for mobility. When I was teaching bar classes, we would use the long flat bands to target our core. So we'd like wrap the long band on the bar and hold each part of the band at the end and like do some ab work with those. And then towards the very end of the class, we would do some stretching with the band. So we'd lay flat on our back, place the flat band on the balls of our feet, and then get a nice hamstring stretch by pulling that leg back with the band. And again, if you're someone who's not very flexible, the bands are a great addition to help you with your flexibility, because I know not everyone can just like grab their toes and pull it back towards their head. So the mobility or the resistance bands, the flat bands, are definitely helpful for stretching. And we're going to come to another very brief break right now. When we come back, we'll be talking about the different types of resistance bands.
You really can't underestimate the importance of having the right creative work for your brand or your product. Whether it's a logo, a website, a book cover, or an ad campaign, you really need a quality design to make that big difference pop and deliver your overall engagement and success in a competitive market. That's where Design Crowd comes in. Design Crowd has over 750,000 designers from Sydney to San Francisco, ready to help you with awesome creative ideas. They make crowdsourcing work for you. So if you need a logo or you're working on your creative branding, you can go to designcrowd.com and post a brief describing the design you need. And then within about 2 to 7 days, you'll receive up to over 100 different designs from designers around the world. Then you pick the best design and approve payment to the designer. So you're only paying for the design that you want. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of freelancing and out of crowdsourcing. And you don't have to be a huge company like Harvard Business School to use Design Crowd, although they have used it as well. You can start a project on Design Crowd for as little as $99. And if you go right now to designcrowd.com/health and wellness or enter the promo code health and wellness on their website, then our health and wellness listeners will receive up to $150 off of your design project. That's designcrowd.com/health and wellness or entering that promo code health and wellness.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Hey guys, and welcome back to GSMC Fitness Podcast. So we just got done reviewing some of the amazing benefits of incorporating resistance bands into your workout and just overall resistance training. So we're moving on, and we're now going to be uncovering the different types of resistance bands because there's many. So the rubberized resistance bands come in many forms. I'm going to talk about the rubber elastic kind first. I already talked to you guys about the cloth ones. As the mini band, booty band, they have those in the cloth form with the non-slip grip inside. Definitely recommend those. So the traditional bands are long cylindrical tubes with plastic handles attached to the ends. They differ in thickness, which determines how difficult the band will be to use. There's a great band for basic strength training exercises. I don't have these bands, but they look like they can really give you a total body workout. Like if you want to, again, you tie it against something sturdy and you just pull it, and you can get amazing, amazing results with it. Next, we have the braided tubes, and these are 4 strands of tube braided together like traditional bands. They come in a variety of resistance depending on your fitness level, but the braid gives you added durability and holds up the most rigorous training applications, mainly for like outdoor environments. Next, we have the flat band, which I just talked about that we use that in my bar training classes. And these are great for physical therapy, mind-body exercises, and seniors especially, or just anybody with any type of injury, joint discomfort. The flat band is going to be your best friend. And then next we have the super band, which was made popular by CrossFit. It's great for pull-up assistance, partner exercises, and is often used by athletes. I just ordered myself a pair of super bands off Amazon. They did take quite a long time to get here. I mean, we all know Amazon's backed up with orders. Everyone is placing their orders online, so I'm not surprised. But I ordered 2, and wow. I should have ordered those before the pandemic because those give me such a good workout. I usually like to superset it. So I'll do like dumbbell row to target my back, and then I will do some rear delt pulls with the band, and I'll superset it that way. So it's like I'm still targeting the same muscle group, but like in different ways. And the band, again, it's great for muscle stimulation. I feel like I'm really activating the correct muscles using the super band. So again, super inexpensive. You can find really any of these anywhere, which is great. Like they're not that hard to find, and they're pretty inexpensive. So get you a pair of super band or mini band, booty band, whatever the case is, and you will be very, very shocked by how it elevates your workout. So let's talk about now how to choose a resistance level. We talked about the benefit. We talked about the different types. How do you choose now which resistance is best for you? The first thing to keep in mind is that you can't compare a resistance band with a dumbbell. In other words, you can't say a certain color band is equal to a certain size dumbbell. Physics dictates otherwise. When lifting weights, gravity plays a big part. You get more resistance when lifting against gravity, but then gravity makes lowering the weight easier. However, when using tubing, you do not fight gravity. Instead, the band is presenting you with resistance in both directions, in the pulling direction and resisting direction. In other words, the concentric phase and eccentric phase. The ability to move freely when using tubing allows you to mimic and recreate everyday movement. One of the main benefits of using resistance bands is increasing and strengthening natural movement patterns used in daily activities such as falling through on a golf swing or like throwing a football, lifting something up high, or even opening a door. This is also known as like functional training. Functional training is basically, again, strengthening your natural movement patterns used in daily activities. That being said, how do you choose the proper level band for you? The bands are color-coded. Yellow is usually for beginners or seniors. Green is like light resistance. Red is medium. Blue is heavy. And purple is ultra heavy. According to SPR Products, the #1 manufacturer of resistance tubes, the beauty of the bands is to develop muscle strength and muscle endurance. To work on strength, do fewer repetitions at a higher resistance. For endurance, do more repetitions up against less resistance. To determine the right color, you should reach moderate to maximum muscle fatigue between 20 to 30 reps. If your chosen band is too easy, you'll know. If it's too hard, you won't be able to complete the exercise repetitions to the full range of motion. So really, you guys, you just have to... It's a lot of trial and error. Like I can't really like sit here and tell you like what's going to work for you, what's not. It's just a lot of trial and error. You're going to have to purchase these and just test these out for yourself. Keep in mind that one band might not cut it out for working out your entire body. Different muscles have different strains, so you might want to buy 2 different resistance levels right off the bat, which is exactly what I did with like the super band. I got a lighter resistance to target my upper body, and obviously I got a heavier resistance to target the lower body. So with all that being said, who should use resistance bands? After, talking about the benefits of the bands, it's probably become clear that anyone can use resistance bands to reach their fitness goals. And here are some specific groups that should use them and why. So anyone trying to gain muscle, you should use. If you're looking to gain muscle size and strength, you can use bands in place of dumbbells and machines to provide a new and challenging stimulus to your muscles for growth. You can also add them to barbell exercises to increase intensity and neuromuscular performance. Again, this traces back to the concept of progressively overloading those exercises. Next, anyone who wants to lose weight, you should use resistance bands. Losing weight is easiest when you combine a healthy diet, cardio, and strength training. Add bands to your workout routines, such as in a full body circuit. This might look like doing a resistance band chest press followed by squats with the band, followed by a back row with the band. This will burn calories and build muscle at the same time, which will help you to lose weight over the long term, because we know muscle is more dense than fat and muscle burns more calories than fat. Older adults, seniors, you should use bands. For adults around or over the age of 60, standard weights at the gym can be challenging and harsh on your body and on your joints. Resistance bands help to maintain strength and muscle mass without overdoing it. Research indicates that training programs using elastic tubes are a practical, effective means of increasing strength in adults over the age of 65. Johns Hopkins Medicine recommends resistance bands as one of the safest methods to increase bone strength and help prevent osteoporosis. Athletes, you should use resistance bands. Bands help prepare athletes for movements in every plane of motion, both to improve strength and power, as well as to prevent injuries. 2004 national boxing champion Daniel Sanchez says, "As an athlete, I learned that there is nothing better out there to make you faster and stronger than resistance bands. You can take them with you everywhere, get a good workout no matter where you are. Very important for my training, especially with my shadow boxing, punching speed, and even toning with no weight involved. If I had to pick dumbbells or bands, I would choose bands every time." Again, this is what an athlete is saying, y'all, so use those bands. Last but not least, pregnant women. Yes, you can use these bands. Exercise is super, super, super important during pregnancy for improving energy, sleep, mood, and preparing for childbirth. I mean, you want to be in the most healthy state when you are giving birth. However, this is not the time to dive into an intense weight training program. Resistance bands and high repetitions, 15 to 20, are great for light muscle toning. Using one light and one medium band would allow you to hit all of your major muscles without strain. So give them a try, you guys, and leave a comment below letting me know what results you see from adding resistance bands to your fitness routine. And you guys, that's going to wrap up today's episode here at the GSMC Fitness Podcast. I hope you liked what I had to talk about today, all about resistance bands, the different types that are out there, their amazing benefits, and basically anyone can use them. That's the great part about resistance band, is that they don't discriminate. Anybody can use them. And I want to thank you all for tuning in to today's podcast. If you liked what I had to discuss, please, please, please don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff, because that tremendously helps the show. And I want to wish you all a very happy, healthy, and successful week ahead. And I'll catch you guys here next week.
You've been listening to the GSMC Fitness Podcast, part of the GSMC Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcasts on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Google Play, and any app where you listen to podcasts. Just type in GSMC to find all of the shows from the GSMC Podcast Network. From movies to music, from sports to entertainment, from business news to weird news, we cover it all. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook and listen to these podcasts on YouTube. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's podcast.